Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
It's okay now. It's okay now.
Okay. So, welcome all to class. Good evening, Mr. Newborn. Good evening, Ewola. And yeah, maintaining same protocol for everyone that comes in the class later on. All right. So this is the week one class. Like I said in the group, I'll be combining both the class for the other tutor and myself. Okay, and we are starting with the fundamentals, which is knowing what it is all about, the Web3, the whole thing called Web3, and then trying to maybe touch one or two places that you like, those brief explanation of those things you get to find maybe much later on, maybe your week two, week three, week four classes you get. So starting off with the introduction of Web3. Um, Now, you talk about Web3, okay? Web3 is like the next generation internet, which is like a new face, get a new face of the internet. Not your regular browsing platforms, not your regular all those kind of things you get. So the Web3 is kind of different from all of those things. So Web3 is the next phase of the internet that aims to give people more control over their data, identity, and value online. Get just like I said. So it's a transition from what you know already to what it is. You get. So it's built on the blockchain called the called blockchain technology. It's built on that technology, and it's related innovations like you say cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DAOs, and decentralized applications. Get all those kind of things. So they're all under the umbrella of what the Web3 is. Makes these are what makes Web3 possible. Okay. So before now, that was in 2019. Sorry, 2009. There was a first ever cryptocurrency. It was tagged Bitcoin, founded by Nakamoto. Get so that was like the founder of Bitcoin, the first ever cryptocurrency, and blockchain technology. Get that came into existence. But then it wasn't called Web3. So the name Web3 came about in sometimes in 2014. Yeah, 2014. That was when the name Web3 came about. So before that 2014, it was called blockchain and the rest of it. Again. So Web3 now people okay, a group of innovators came and saw okay, this is like going to help the next generation internet again. So that's why they had to call it a shift from the regular web applications get to what they call what's known as the Web3. Okay, so we will now look at the evolution. You get evolution. When I mean evolution, evolution is the changes that are occurred with time. You get changes from, let's say, for instance, those days they used to use typewriters. You get, but now we have computers all over the places. So it's an evolution of what technology, and this time we call it the evolution of the web. So we have Web one, and if you want to look at the origin of Web 1 when it started, you'll be talking about 1990s, the 1990s, yeah, 1990s to around 2005. And this Web 1 was is usually termed as the read only web. What I mean by the read only web is it was more like an information sharing platform, like information sharing platforms. Yet only the authors have the ability to what to create or maybe publish anything out there for you who is a reader to just read. Get so it's only a read only web. So how it works was it had static HTML pages. There were a few creators as at then, many consumers get because that was like an early phase of what the internet where people were using. Remember those days now where we have big computers, heavy duty computers, and the rest of it. You get, but now um we had there has been a shift. Okay, so if you look at the user role of what Web 1 was then, was it was mostly reading, there was little or no interactions yet. People could not interact yet. It was just reading. You're just able to read what maybe a publisher made on the internet. You get. So examples of these were like Yahoo. You must have heard about Yahoo now, like Yahoo Mail. Maybe you're using a Yahoo product or so. So then Yahoo was like the first ever internet that internet, how do they call it, the first ever internet service provider. Like for instance, you want to send mails to somebody and so on and so forth. You get. So Yahoo was the go-to stuff. So you have early news sites like Wikipedia, Nairaland, and the rest of it. So now there was a shift after that phase of the internet, which was called, it was termed Web 2. Okay, and Web 2 actually started around 2005. Yeah, from origin 2005, and there was now a major shift to get from not just read only, but a read and write web again. So the main idea behind the Web 2 was basically on social interactions, user generated content. An example of these could include platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and the likes you get. So used for what? Creating and sharing content. Um, but then but then they were owned by centralized authorities, or they're owned by centralized authorities because they are still they go to platforms you get, or like let's say they are still they go to internet, the face of the internet at the moment you get, because we are still using it right for our daily lives. But now the later came a major shift, which I said before in 2014, where they read, write, and own web came about, which is now what we are trying to advocate for, we're trying to create adoption for, and the rest of it, and which is why we are here, to learn about Web3. So the main idea for Web3 is um, decentralization and user ownership. Okay, because if you look at, for instance, privacy, um, contents that you've been posting on Twitter, Facebook, you get all of those things. Now, do you know what is called cookies? Yeah, they have your ability to get informations from you. Though they will always tell you to sign up to accept cookies or whether you should decline cookies. So when you accept cookies, that means you're giving these people authorities to do what, to take data from your browsers and the rest of it. You get. Um, Now, like a major shift, like I said, the Web 3, which we are here, which is why we are here. So it's how it works now. It uses what, blockchain technology, like I said, and blockchain technology. Aside blockchain technology, we have other innovations get within this phase of the web. We have crypto, we have NFTs, we have DAOs, and other things which we'll be discussing in our um class ongoing. We'll be hearing all of these things, we'll be hearing NFTs, we'll be hearing DAOs, we'll be hearing the apps and the rest of it again. So now we move further to the core concept of Web 3. Now the core concept, like you stated, the core. So those things are actually bounds Web 3. So, like I said, Web 3 is essentially a decentralized phase of the internet where users control their identity, data, and assets without relying on centralized intermediaries. Now, the beautiful thing about Web 3 or blockchain tech is it's just you and the blockchain. Now, when I say it's just you and the blockchain, it's you and your mobile phone. You're just connecting, you're just doing something in within a block of chains. You get. uh I don't know how it was a diagrammatic way I could show you guys this stuff, how it is, how it is done. So it's a formation of several blocks you get, that are chained, interlinked. Yeah, so this helps you process anything on chain, or yeah, on chain, yeah. So we used to call it on chain. You get, in Web 3, be able to talk about on chain, not online. Just being on chain. So everything is done on the blockchain itself. So we have what is that about all about? So removing the middleman in digital interactions. So the core concept of Web 3 is one, to remove middlemen in digital interactions, ensuring transparency through open source protocols. What do I mean by protocols? These are like different um blockchains. Now blockchain is the, like, call it the parent's name that others that different blockchains you get. When I say different blockchains, I mean projects. Most times you call it projects. So you hear something like BNB, you hear something like Ethereum, you hear something like Avalanche, you hear something like ICP, that's the internet computer, you hear something like the likes of the Sonic and all the rest of it. So these are all different blockchains projects you get. Now they have their own mechanisms, how their system works. So those are termed under protocols you get. So creating new economic systems where participants are rewarded fairly. So blockchain actually creates a lot of it makes the internet much more flexible for anybody to want to interact. Get, unlike centralized systems like I mentioned before, Facebook, Twitter, and the rest of it, which today, tomorrow they can just tell you your account has been banned, all those kind of things you get, for no just reason. You get, they just choose to, because of what certain rules and stuff um, that has been posted on that platform. For instance, Twitter, if you make some certain posts, the owner of Twitter will just maybe whatever codes are written before you know your system is out and the rest of it. So all of those things, your data is not secured. Like your data is not secured like it should be on the blockchain. So that's why we're creating adoption, trying to see how to bring people closer to the innovation. Get, so blockchain is an innovation and it doesn't stops Web2 systems. All what it does is it helps the Web2 systems to get improved. Get, so yeah. So why the evolution happened now? Let's look at it this way. We have Web 1, we have Web 2, Web 3, right? So why was there a major shift between these different face of the web? So from Web 1 to Web 2, we have users wanted more interaction. Okay, users wanted more interactions. So it was just reading. You could just come and read. Then, as at Web 1, you could just come and read whatever any author have posted on his platform. You get. Um, so the introduction of Web 2 actually made it possible for us to interact with those contents that the authors have pasted, right? So we have social networks like blogs, apps, applications, and the rest of it that could help us interact with different platforms. For instance, you're chatting on WhatsApp. You can say hello and someone says hi. You can say good morning and someone says how are you? You get all those things. So it makes it possible for us to interact within ourselves and the rest of it. Yeah. But still bear in mind that it's under what is centralized system. That's the Web 2. It's under a centralized system. So we went ahead to from Web 2 to Web 3, where people could now realize that big platforms own everything. Get, you could realize that these platforms, we could realize that these platforms were owned by centralized authorities and the rest of it. So the major shift that happened here was making the internet a digital ownership. Like you own your own you own all your own datas, you own everything that you're putting online, you get all those things. So it's a decentralized phase of the internet. Okay, so I don't know if I'm a bit fast or you guys are following. Can I get responses, please? uh okay, everyone, please, can I hear from you? Am I too fast? Mr. Newbang, am I too fast? Okay. Okay. I think I could just pause a little bit and then get questions. Any questions, please, from what I've said so far?
I don't have any question.
All right. I believe Lilian is following. Okay. Oh, OEP. Welcome, sir. As one of our tutors. Okay. So let me continue then, if there are no questions. So we have key principles of Web 3. And if you're looking at the key principles of Web 3 now, we'll be outlining those things, those essential things you'll be facing during your interaction process. Now, one, is decentralization. So no single company or government controls everything. Data and apps live on blockchains. Again, like I said, everything you're doing on this face of the internet is stored on the blockchains. So it's a peer-to-peer network. Okay, the system, you and your system, you either choose to give in or you choose to take out. So that's just how the system works without any intermediary. You get, so it makes your whole interaction very seamless. So we have ownership. Okay, and if you're looking at ownership, you look at your control, your data control, your data assets control, and sometimes even parts of the application you use. Okay, so part of the applications you may be using can be controlled by you. Let's say, for instance, your wallet. Yeah, your wallet is a decentralized application. Yeah, and for your wallet to be able to get for you to be able to see your wallet balance, for instance, you're the one that have to put in your all of the details again. And was one very interesting thing about the blockchain. Now there's what we call seed phrases. So seed phrases is what gives you access to your wallet again. So other blockchains might have um, features that, okay, fine, you can just use an identity and get logged into the system. Like one I know of, you can just have your internet identity and then you are in your wallet, you get all those things. So it makes it much easier for you to get on the platform. So we have trustless systems. So transactions and interactions are verified by code and consensus mechanisms, not middlemen. So now there's this fantastic thing about the blockchain. Okay, it's what we call smart contracts. So these smart contracts are codes that have been written over time by developers. So this the developers actually place codes that could help you. Okay, okay, good. So I'll slow down. So trustless system. Now transactions and interactions are verified by codes. Okay, and consensus mechanisms. Okay, so now there's what we call smart contracts. So smart contracts is what enables your transactions, your interactions within the blockchain to be made possible. Okay, so there are codes written by developers to enhance these transaction phases or interactions within the apps, within decentralized applications. So when I say the apps, please take note, it means decentralized applications. Whatever applications you see on chain is a decentralized application. Okay, so long as you can carry out a decentralized functionality, then is a decentralized application. Okay, which you also be taught in the class that you guys will be taking part in. So we have token based. Now we're still on the principles, right? There's what we call token based economics. Now a token based economy is value. Now, for instance, okay, now there's one fantastic thing about this whole Web3 stuff. Now, it's every project or every brand can choose to have its own asset. It's not a compulsory stuff though to have an asset as a maybe as a project on the Web3, like launch on the Web3. It's not compulsory though. But there are two sides of a product in the Web3 space. We have the digital product and or the token based product. So the based product allows you to own your own digital assets that can be used to interact within this platform, within their ecosystem. Let's take for instance, okay, every blockchain definitely has a coin. You get, or yeah, every blockchain has its own coin, which and enables you to what to pay for gas, to pay for certain things within the ecosystem. Now let's look at projects, for instance. Now, if you let's say there is one of the project I want to mention. Okay, let's say there's one project I used to work for then, Exono Finance. So Exono Finance was in like a marketplace, an e-commerce marketplace. Now that Exono Finance, now they had a token which was called EXN. So EXN was like the token you use to purchase items within the e-commerce store. So once you maybe want to buy a laptop on the e-commerce site, you buy the laptop. The laptop will be equivalent, like to be given to you as, okay, you are buying it as a coin or sorry, as a token within that platform. Now that token has a value. So if you're buying at that token, if you're buying at that token, let's say 1,000 of a token, 1,000 of that token, for instance, and the token is valued about 0.1. So that 0.1 multiplied by the number of token, it gives you the value you're paying in dollars. And if the dollars maybe gets depreciated in value or appreciated in value, then you're still going to pay the same amount. So long as that price is what they have tagged that laptop to be in the token. So the tokens allows you to interact within different ecosystems you get. So it's not a compulsory stuff to have a token though, but some projects maybe find it necessary to have their own token. So you have token-based economics, which is valuable, like cryptocurrencies, tokens, or other blockchain assets. You get just like I said. So we have interoperability within Web3. So interoperability is one of those principles, uh, and it is such that apps and platforms can connect and share data seamlessly. Get so you can easily connect interoperability. That's interoperating, like operability. Yeah. So that interoperability, they can operate seamlessly within themselves. Yeah, that's what it means. So um there's a very nice part which I would love you guys to know. Just like I've been explaining and explaining and explaining. So there's this part is called the core tech in Web3. Um Now, blockchain is very it looks very small, but there are a lot to it. There's proof of work, there's proof of stake, there's a lot of things, there's consensus mechanism, there's everything you need to know about blockchains. But when you talk about the core technologies in Web3, we might just categorize them under these sections. We have blockchains and examples of blockchain, just like I mentioned before. I keep giving reference to what I've done before because I want you guys to keep it in mind that okay, this is what is reoccurring again, and take note of it again. So we have blockchain and examples of blockchains. I'll just call a few of them. Ethereum, this is a learning environment, so definitely I can call any project you get. But still, yeah, we're going to teach you guys something during the before you guys get to finish the program. Okay, so we have what we call blockchain, and examples of blockchain include Solana, Ethereum, Internet Computer, Avalanche, Sonic, um, yeah, we have the likes of them. Zion is also a part of it, but Zion has very there's one every blockchain has its own peculiarity. You get, and these blockchains that I just mentioned, they have their own peculiarities. If I not to, okay, let me just explain each of them, maybe a few of them. We have Ethereum. Now, Ethereum came out with a different perspective of what Web3 or blockchain. Now they saw that maybe like they came to solve a particular issues. Okay, let me just keep that aside. Let me just keep this information aside for now. I don't want you guys to take it easy. So we have smart contracts. That's the next one. After blockchain, we have smart contracts. Now, smart contracts, like I said, codes that runs automatically when conditions are met. Smart contracts are like this time around. It's not a middleman though. It's what facilitates your transactions. You get now. And I say codes runs automatically when conditions are met. Say for instance, you want to send a token, let's say 5,000 USDT to somebody. Once you put in the amount, maybe you see a part that say pay, and then you click on pay. Now there's a system that runs your transaction. You get there's a system that runs your transaction. Now there's no middleman there, but that system is what is called a smart contract. So it's a mechanism that helps your tokens to be sent to maybe a third party, to maybe, yeah, I would like call it a friend or a pair, anybody that you want to send to. Get so smart contracts enable that. Then we have decentralized applications. So these are apps without central control. Is explanatory. You get so there are apps with without central control. So now cryptocurrencies. Now I used to hear people talk about cryptocurrencies. I want to trade this, I want to trade that, but they don't know about Web3. Okay, now this is the cryptocurrency you're hearing. Now cryptocurrencies is what is the digital money within the Web3 space. So all of those cryptocurrencies you are seeing, they are under what the umbrella of Web3. Get, like I said, there was a more defined term to what blockchain is in 2014. 2014. Meanwhile, before the Web3 was there, there was what we call Bitcoin, which was the first ever cryptocurrency. So in 2009, Bitcoin was founded by Satoshi Nakamoto. You get, so now cryptocurrencies is part of this umbrella called the Web3. So if you hear somebody talk about cryptocurrencies, always remember that there's something called Web3, which um before the end of this class, or maybe after your class, maybe you guys get to find opportunities within the Web3 space. You get to maybe be paid with cryptocurrencies, you be paid with all sort of assets you get within the Web3 space. So we have what NFTs. Now NFTs are unique digital items or rights. Um, there's this crazy thing that goes on in the Web3 space. Okay, so somebody can give you an NFT. It looks like an image. It looks like an image. Okay, let me just say it's an image you get, but this time around it's a valued image. Now they're giving to you an image you get. That image now can be transferred for money, can be sold out, can be done, like you can use it for anything. So NFTs can be used to maybe prove your ownership of something. It can be used to maybe own a digital certificate online or the rest of it. So NFTs are what? Unique digital items or rights. So these are stuff that gives you a unique identity. Get, so DAOs now. There's this very interesting thing about DAOs now. We have centralized authorities, we have centralized entities, all those things, all those blah blah blah. Now there's what we call digital, decentralized. Please listen, a decentralized autonomous organizations. So these are like a decentralized government. Now it's not owned by. It's not like it's not. How would I say? It's owned though, but it's a free space, or like say call it an open source place where people do what they vote, people do they speak for themselves, they speak, like it gives them the ability to maybe um free themselves out, like say what's on their mind and the rest of it yet through voting powers and the rest of it. So it's still going to be explained to you guys in your classes to come or so. I think maybe a third week or so. So we have is this introduction. I don't know if it's okay. You guys are following up, right? Anyone, are you following? Okay, thank you for that. So we have why Web3. Now we have heard all the big English um definitions, evolution, everything that has to do with it, the tech and the rest of it. Now you say why Web3 now? Um, Web3 was created what one for freedom, freedom and privacy. So there's no need to give away all your data to big tech companies. You get, and what are big tech companies? Big tech companies are the AWS, the Google, like AWS is Amazon Web Service. These are platform that hosts your online like online products, website, be it website, e-commerce store, and the rest of it. You host it on their platforms. You get, so those are big tech companies, and they can sell your data. Like I said, you accepting cookies. They can use your data for anything. They can use it to reproduce something else. So all those things are what Web3 is fighting against. So we have global access. So anyone with the internet can participate. Anyone with the internet can participate, definitely. You who is a newbie, you can own a wallet, you can own multiple wallets, you can do anything you want to do with your wallet, you can do anything. Now wallet is a fundamental, or let's say is a very important thing in the Web3 space you get, because that's where everything concerning you, your assets, everything. So it's more like a bank on your phone, it's more like a bank you carry about you get. You don't need to go to a bank and say I want to withdraw 5,000 naira, I want to withdraw 500. No, no, no. You can just stay within your confine, in your home, just do anything transaction you send to somebody. And that's why when you get to maybe when you get to the part of cryptocurrency class, we're going to teach you guys about exchanges, what it takes to process. a peer-to-peer transaction and the rest of it in that class. So we have fairer economics. So Web3 comes with a fair economy, okay, indirectly from your contribution. Yeah, this is the fantastic part. Indirectly from your contribution. Let's say you're an ambassador. Now you're working for a project, you get, or you. And there's one thing that is currently trending now, and it's called yapping. So you're earning directly from how you contribute to that particular project and the rest of it. So it allows you to get your own financial freedom. You can easily earn, you can easily buy a token and say, okay, let me hold it for the future. You hold, and then before you know, the next 5 years, or sorry, next, you can give some tokens 2 months before you know the tokens have done times 10, or the rest of it times 10, 20. Get, depends on your financial analysis. Or yeah, I think we have a trader here, so you should explain better. So Hani, I think it's handling that part of cryptocurrency. So you guys are going to learn from me. So we have resilience. Now there's no single point of failure. Okay, there's no single point of failure. The failure that can occur on the blockchain or Web3 is caused by you alone. It's caused by you alone. By the time you give out um your seed phrases, you give out your identities, all those things, it's definitely going to rip you off. Get your assets going to rip you off whatever you're putting on chain. Get, I'm not using online anymore. I'm using on chain. So anything you're doing on the blockchain is on the chain. So tomorrow, next week is going to be blockchain class, which there will be a further explanation on what blockchain is, yeah, and the rest. So let's look at the real world use cases real quick before we call it a day. Yeah, I think I've been able to cover up the other trainers class and mine as well. So basically, my class was supposed to be about the real world use cases. Okay. Um, Now we have Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, and the rest of it. Yeah, we don't know whether Web 4 will be coming very soon. We're just trying to manage the one we have now. So we have Web 3. So we'll be looking at the aspects of um different phase of the webs. We have main functions. Number one, we have main functions. And if you look at what Web 1 was doing, Web 1 was particular about information. Get, they came in because they wanted people to, okay, that was like a fresh innovation again. So they wanted people to be able to read something online. They wanted you to be able to see what the news is talking about. Yeah, they wanted it to be able to, maybe as an author, maybe you're someone that publish articles. You can post your articles yet for people to read and all of this. So it's more of giving accessible information. Okay, that's what the main function was all about. So now we have Web 2. Web 2 is more of a read and write, okay, like you said. So the main function of Web 2 is what? To create and share content. Just like we are sharing our contents every day, you keep uploading those PDFs to your groups, you keep um, saying hi to your friends, and they keep giving you response and all of those things. So those were the main functions of what? Web 2, being able to interconnect, you're able to communicate easily with your friends, your peers. So we have Web 3 now. The main function of Web 3 is about the own and control data slash assets. Now, data slash assets, like I said, data is, let's say, your whatever your name is, whatever your um let's say your NFTs are and the rest of it, blah blah blah. Get all of those things, those are your data. Yeah, slash your assets. Now, assets are your transferable tokens, your NFTs, all those things are just proof value get for whatever you're doing on chain. So now, talking about technology part of it, we have on in Web 1 we have HTML pages, which are what we are still using at the moment. You're still using, like I said, this Web3 is not coming to die off any part of the internet. It's just coming to give a shift from what it usually used to be to a much more. We're just trying to make our world better, again, by putting up a decentralized system for you to interoperate. So we have, for the Web 2 part, we have database APIs and cloud. Your Google is a cloud. Your, let's say, the other clouds out there, your Google is a cloud, you have Fox cloud and the rest of it. So you can all store your data on the cloud and the rest of it. But now you should bear in mind that we have what, decentralized systems that could maybe wipe away your data or do something else with it. So we have the technology part of the Web3. We have blockchain and smart contract. So blockchain is the tech itself. Smart contract is what enables you do anything on chain. Okay. So we have control. We have control. Now the third one is control. We have website owners for Web one. Web one was website owners. People could create their websites and the rest of it using, then it was Q basics, Visual Basics, and the rest. Those were old time programming languages. So there was the later became other languages came about, Python and the rest of it get. So it just helps you to build your website or whatever you're building online, build it seamlessly get. So you have centralized companies for the Web 2 aspect. So but now in the Web 3 space, what we call decentralized networks. Decentralized networks. Now you've heard about the blockchain, heard about those projects I mentioned, Ethereum and the rest of it. Now we have networks. So these networks are how will I call it? These are like, I don't know, like how will I explain this now? Okay, let me just give. Okay, he's out of the call. Okay, I wanted him to say something though. So networks are what enables you to send your different currencies online. Let's say on chain. I mean, sorry. What enables you to send your different currencies. Let's say you want to send USDT to somebody. Now the network is what allows you to send that token. Now I don't mean MTN network, I don't mean Airtel network, I don't mean Salad or whatever. So I mean the network is now your BNB is the network. You're sending, okay, sorry, the BIP20 is a network. Your ERC20 is a network. Your TRC20 is a network. Now, all this thing I'm mentioning now, if you don't know what it is, right? We're still going to teach you guys when it comes to blockchain or maybe cryptos aspect. Teach you guys. So this TRC, ERC, BIP20, these are what enables you to make transactions. You cannot send a USDT BEP20 to a Solana USDT. It's confusing, right? So you're going to learn that. That's why this program is for you. There's a whole lot you get from the program. I'm just speaking those people that missed out, those people that are trying to come on board and find it difficult to get in the class. All right, so we have business model. That's the fourth one. We have business model. We have arts on static. That is, business model is for Web 1, sorry. Then we have all ads on statics. When I mean ad, I mean advertisement on static sites. That's what it means. Uh okay. Sorry, I mixed it up. So the business model for Web 1 is ads on static sites. So those sites were static. They were not, when I mean static, I mean they were not that you cannot inter communicate. You cannot communicate. Get, you were just hosting, you were just publishing your articles there for people to read. Get, so they are art on static sites. A dynamic site is a site that you can always interact, you can always share, you can comment, get all of those things, just throw your insight. So that's just a knowledge of what I'm talking about. So they have ads plus selling user data. Ads plus selling user data on the centralized system. So that's what I said before. So you're selling your data, but you don't know. So you see that maybe for instance, let me give you guys an instance now. Let's say you okay, okay. Let's say now, for instance, would that be the perfect explanation? So let's say your instance now, you've that's the perfect explanation. Um, okay, take for instance Google. Take for instance your Google, for instance, yeah. You're trying to, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Though the other was audio was gone for a
Okay,
bit.
yeah, I had a message coming through my phone, that's why. Okay, so if you talk about sending data now, let's say for instance, um you're trying to use Google products to get. Now you put in your name, you put in your email on, let's say, your email address, you sign up your phone, get all those things. Now if you are going to sign on a platform, now once you put, let's say, I'm spelling my name Wisdom. Now my data automatically shows. Now it's just left for me. My data automatically shows. It's now left for me to what? To now click okay, confirm. It's just left for me to just okay. Instead of me typing continuously, I'll just put there wisdom at you get it shows. If I want to put my mail now, email you get it shows. So those are signs that these people already have what all your name, your age, your date of birth, everything is already stored in their system, which means they can use it, sell it out if they choose to. Get you will not know. They're selling your data to big tech companies. You will not know. All you know is just be that's why you see sometimes it might just be on your laptop and you're pressing before you know something pops up and it's showing you okay okay this is a shoe, a Nike shoe. Why you not buying it now? It's because of what they have information about you. They know what you always search for in your system. So with that information they've got, they can be able to get all of these ads channeled to your web browsers. You get so that's what makes it sellable. So they can sell your information. Take note. So now we have token economies in the Web3 aspect. You have token economies, and me sef I'm tired of talking. So let me just wrap it up with internet identity. Okay, identity now. For instance, we have in Web1 we had anonymous browsing. So you could just be browsing the internet, nobody knows you. You could just be doing your reading, nobody knows you. You get so there was anonymous browsing, you just be browsing, nobody knows you, and other things like that. So later on, in the Web 2 aspect, we have what accounts owned by platforms. Accounts were owned by platforms. Get so these platforms now they own your accounts in the sense that they can be able to give you access to their platforms. Yeah. So now in the Web3 aspect, we have what decentralized identity, which is for short DID. So decentralized identity is a gateway to access anything on chain. Anything on chain. So that's just what it is. Then I think that's it. Okay, let me give you guys an example use case for okay. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Okay. I get it now. So let me give an example of use case. Now in social media, we have web one, we had online bulletin boards. Web one for use cases for social medias. We had online bulletin boards. So these were just plain advertisement platforms and the rest of it. Then now we had a major shift from Web 1 to now Facebook, Twitter, where you can post, you can own it, get do anything with it. You can choose to delete it, you can choose to share it, you can allow people share it. Now you go on Facebook, they'll tell you um privacy, public, anyone, everyone. Yeah, you choose who you want to interact with your content you get. So now when it comes to Web3, you now hear something like Lens Protocol. Lens Protocol is like a Farcaster. A Farcaster is like a platform that enables people to broadcast their content and the rest of it. So you post your own on Farcast. Then we have example use case for payments banks for for payments, yeah, for sorry for payments. Example use case for payments. Now we had web bank websites. Do you know?
Sorry, hello, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, can you come again with the lens protocol?
Okay, the lens protocol. Sorry, the lens protocol is a Farcaster. It enables you to post and own your content. So just like your normal Twitter and the rest, but this time around it has a decentralized system in it. So it's called Lens Protocol. You can go check it out yourself about the project. You can when I call projects like this, please you can go and do your own research about it. Okay. So Now, example use case for payments. Now, banks. I was coming to where I want to laugh. Now, do you know some banks actually still use, okay, I'll not call it they use Web 1 functionalities. No, but there's still some of them are so old. Some I will not want to call any bank though. So they only give informations only as at then. No. So now yeah, they only give informations. They only give information aside the fact that you can transfer your funds. You can transfer your funds, and then there's a middleman there that facilitate that transaction. For instance, and in fact, the middlemen there are the banks. You are just coming to do your transaction. So once you send, maybe you are sending 5,000 and you said 5,000, now the bank system operates it and gives you your cash maybe at the ATM part or at the ATM point or so. You get. So the banks are the intermediaries here. You, the bank, the cash, the how they call it, the machine. So that's it. So we have on Web 2, we have a PayPal, we have Stripe, we have middlemen needed. So in PayPal, in Stripe, all of these are like platforms that enables you to make payments online. Let's say you are an online vendor, yeah, online vendor, for instance. So PayPal allows you to pay your money through, maybe for instance you make a transaction like that, just like a middleman that helps you facilitate that transaction. So that's just basically it. So but when it comes to Web 3, we have USSD, you have peer-to-peer transactions. Um then what again? We have, yeah, I think example use case for gaming. We have offline PC games. Then we have offline PC games. Then you know your Sonic, you have Saga, all those things. So in Web 2 now we had Fortnite, Fortnite, Roblox, Central Control. Then but on Web 3 we have what we call Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity, you must have seen it now somewhere. Axie Infinity is a decentralized gaming platform. So the sandbox own in-game assets as NFTs. So all of those things. So when we come to real world assets for finance, digital finance, we have using Uniswap to swap cryptocurrencies without a bank or so. So yeah, I think I've used 1 hour to explain, or less than an hour, sorry, to explain what this Web 3 is all about. Okay, it's just like an opening ceremony for what you're going to expect. Like I said, you'll be hearing some terms during the process of introducing you guys to this. So um in your next class you hopefully be able to understand them properly, and you can just write down those things that you've like pointed out, so you can maybe do your own research about it. Yeah, yeah, but I'm believing that you've understood everything that has been said in class, and get prepared because weekends like this we used to, like in our previous academic program, we used to give out tests. So give out a test or maybe an assignment for you guys to do and get submitted within the week of the next yeah, within the next week. Get maybe on Tuesday you get to submit it. So we'll give you guys an assignment by weekend. All right. So that's it. So I believe you understood everything that's been said in class.
Yes, I understood everything.
All right. All right. So thank you so much for joining. Ishinya, thank you so much for joining as well. I wish the other person was here. I would just say a goodbye to her as well. So goodbye, guys. See you guys next week. Oh, you have anything to say, Mr. Nyebong? Okay, I think it's off. All right now. Good night.